1 2 1 2 in the place to be. What's up, y'all? How y'all doing out there? I am Frank Red once again, and it's time for another edition of the In the Dungeon Show. I want to thank you off the top for joining me. I really appreciate it, and I am excited to engage with you in conversation about what's going on in the world of sports, and maybe we'll dive into some other stuff that intersects with the world of sports. Off the top, I'm definitely going to talk about what I think might be a breakthrough moment in hip hop. On Friday, Pete Rock, the legendary producer Pete Rock, Soul Brother, collaborated and dropped an album with one of the great MCs of all time that really probably doesn't get his just due, my man Common, who already has had three of the greatest albums of all time in hip hop. And this collaboration with Pete Rock is going to do a lot to build on and fortify his reputation even more. And what a comeback for Pete Rock. You know, as I said, legendary, one of the original producers on Nas's Illmatic album. They got a classic, folks. And if you've heard any of the songs or you want to chop it up, talk about it, feel free to do so. All right. And we'll get to that. You know, we're going to talk about what's going on in the world of sports. I sent you the link via personal message. So I've already sent the link. All right. There you go. It's there. In the off season of the NFL, you got so many different shows. And wait for it, the conversations become redundant from a national perspective, from a local perspective. And I get it. I mean, if I had to feed my family, pay my rent or mortgage or whatever, I would talk about the same topics too. The skill is, can you make them sound slightly different? But the topics are generally the same. All right. Doesn't interest me as well. I'll jump in every now and then and chime in, but I like talking about football. I love football. You can't have two more different sports than basketball and football, and I love both of those sports. Was lucky enough to play both of them. But we don't have to do that anymore. We can start talking about what's happening on the field. Before I came on tonight, I saw some clips of Patrick Mahomes and the KC Chiefs taking the field, hooking up. We don't have to see Travis Kelce, you know, singing at a Taylor Swift concert, which is not a bad look for him. You can watch him on the football field now catching footballs. That gets my juices flowing. All of the craziness surrounding Aaron Rodgers, hopefully we can put that to bed and start talking about how this guy is basically, or not, no. We're going to talk about how he can potentially become Joe Namath 2.0. Can you imagine if Aaron Rodgers leads the Jets to a Super Bowl? Forget about respectability, though. I mean, if he go to the playoffs. No, the Jets have been to the playoffs. That's not why they brought Aaron Rodgers to New York. They want this guy to help facilitate history. 1967, I believe it was, 67? 69 or 67 is the last time the Jets won, I think, a Super Bowl. I think it's 67. Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm interested in that. So if you want to talk football tonight, we're going to do that. All right? We're also going to talk basketball because that's a big-time topic here. Why? Because a lot of my listeners represent communities where teams have done well. The Golden State Warriors. Are they done? Are they not done? Is this team any good? Did the Warriors off season improve the team? A lot of different topics How did they do this summer with their free agent acquisitions? We're going to talk about that as well. And Anthony Vereen, the summer league coach, as I said before in past weeks, didn't know a whole lot about this gentleman. Second-year coach of the Warriors, coach of the G League, but what a terrific job he's done. I think that he has certainly put his name on the radar and gave the Warriors some momentum going into the winter, how well they played in the summer. But we're going to talk basketball. One of the biggest stories, two of the biggest stories that we've seen, USA basketball barely winning to South Sudan 101-100, which was striking, visually striking to watch for a lot of different reasons. They got cooked by a guy, Hartick Jones, who's a good player. Played at Louisville, played at Radford, was the MVP of the G League. It's not like he can't play. He can play. But to see this dude just navigate through a team of Hall of Famers was striking to me. And I saw the clips. The team had a pretty solid practice today, USA basketball, but I'm scared. As scared as I can be about a basketball game. But I don't think it's a foregone conclusion that we're going to win. Should we win? Absolutely. But that performance against South Sudan and against Australia was eye-opening. And we can talk about why. The story of the weekend, though, has to be the WNBA All-Star Weekend game. This is not hyperbole. I've never seen a better All-Star game than what we saw last night. I've never seen it before. So if you're a fan of the WNBA, chime in. We can talk about that. I would love to hear your thoughts. Hopefully the initiation period is over for Caitlin Clark because she has thoroughly ingratiated herself into that league, if you will. Monetarily, from a basketball perspective, Caitlin has ascended to the top of the list of some of the best players in the league a lot faster than I ever thought she would. I knew she'd get there, but I thought it would take her 2 or 3 years. She's already one of the top players in the league, and that's a credit to her, but it's also a credit to her reading the room. And because she was a little different when she first came in the league, but she's starting to get it. She's starting to understand that this is a different environment, and I got to be a little different. And I love everything that I'm seeing. The bond between her and Aaliyah Boston and her teammates, Mitchell. I'm loving it. So those are some things I'm putting out there. We're going to continue to talk about what's going on in the world of sports. But before we do that, I want to invite my man, Shardal, on the program. Shardal, what's up, brother? I can't hear you.
Content. I love everything you do on the show, man. You slay it every single day. You know how to do it, brother.
Thank you.
Great to have me on. It's great that you have me on the show tonight.
Hey, man. My pleasure.
Rocking the clean shaven look. You like the clean shaven look?
No. Hold on. We're not going to comment on how men look. We're not going to do that on the show.
I'm sorry. I won't do that.
I'm joking, man. I'm joking.
Hey, how do you like the clean shaven look, Frank? Does it look good?
For who, you?
Do I look swag? Do I look good in the look? The new look?
Yeah, man. Hey, yeah. You like it?
I like it. I look good in it.
I love it then. If you like it, I love it.
I like it too, man. It's a nice look.
I mean, man. Listen, I'm living proof that you don't have to be a great looking person and still do okay. All right. So my point is this. Focus on what's in here and being a great person, and you'll do fine. All right? You look great. All right? Now, I just gave a rundown of some topics that we're going to talk about on the program tonight. From your perspective, when you look at the sports landscape, what's at the top of your mind right now? What do you want to talk about tonight?
I want to first talk about Team USA. You know, that was a great win by Team USA over South Sudan. They got the comeback win. LeBron was phenomenal. Got that game-winning layup. What were your thoughts on LeBron James and that game-winning layup that he made?
LeBron was great. Again, I don't think people realize how special these moments are to watch him and watch a Stephen Curry at this stage of their careers. I mean, LeBron is almost 40. He looks like he's 31. And beyond the physical prowess that he is displaying, it was the calmness that he played with yesterday, because those were pretty intense moments. And I think Steve Kerr was very calm. But when he was drawing up that play and deciding who should have the ball and what LeBron should do, it couldn't have been more perfect. It actually took me back to a couple of years ago when LeBron botched the layup against the Denver Nuggets in the playoffs, when he had the same scenario and he missed the shot. He was as confident as I've ever seen him. He was strong, and he won the game for the USA. So that was good for them. Their overall performance gives me pause.
I mean, if USA keeps playing at this rate, they might be the best team right now with the stacked roster they have. They got Devin Booker, they got Kevin Durant, they got Steph Curry, they got LeBron. This team will go far if they keep playing at this rate.
Well, at this rate, they won by 1 point against South Sudan. That's not impressive at all.
I mean, I thought they would have lost that game at the rate that they were playing. I thought they would get South Sudan was going to get the win. So I mean, this was a gritty win for USA.
It was a good win because they had to deal with adversity, but it's scary. South Sudan was probably ranked in the 30s in world teams. So it was exhilarating. It was a good win. You never want to lose. It's something they can build on. But this was not the type of performance that I think fans of USA men's basketball wanted to see. They wanted to see the team thrash these guys by 30 points. And it's not like South Sudan isn't talented. They are very talented. They have a lot of guys who play in the NBA and play in NCAA basketball. But USA, they don't play defense. They don't, particularly on the perimeter. And when people start talking about the 92 Dream Team and this team, they get in their feelings because they have a certain age. The difference between the original Dream Team and these guys is that was a spectacular defensive team in 92, particularly on the perimeter. Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen would have smothered Carlick Jones. He never would have been able to do the things that he was able to do against USA yesterday. And that bothers me because, yeah, they beat Serbia by a lot of points. They were missing a couple of players. They're going to be really good. Australia's going to be good. Germany won the World Cup. It's not a foregone conclusion that they're going to win. I think they will. They should. But, there'll definitely be some competition, no doubt.
I mean, so a fan of Team USA basketball, I thought this game should have been way more competitive than it was supposed to look like. It was not competitive. South Sudan played they try to make the life of Team USA very hard.
All right. So you talk about USA basketball. Anything else that is piquing your interest? What else? What are your thoughts on the Niners? How do you think they're going to do at the start of the NFL season? They play the New York Jets starting September 9th. Okay, before I answer, I'm going to ask you, what do you think about the 49ers offseason? And what do you think about just like the pulse of the team now? It's not like they don't have controversy going into the season. So what are your thoughts? You probably cover a little closely, more closely than I do. I'm on top of things, but I want to hear your opinion.
I mean, the 49ers have a lot to do during the offseason. I think that it's going to be great. I think they got to work hard, and I think their season's going to be phenomenal if they put in the hard work.
Specifically, there's some issues surrounding this team. You can raise one of them if you want, but what do you think about the culture of the team right now as they get ready to start training camp this week?
I think the culture of the team is really good. I mean, training camp is going to be phenomenal. They're going to get a lot of players are going to work. Brandon Ayuk is going to be out there. George Kittle is going to be out there.
Is Brandon
going to be out there?
Is Brandon Ayuk going to be out there? Has that been confirmed?
So for Brandon Ayuk, I don't think, as a 49er fan, I don't think Brandon Ayuk is leaving the Niners because this guy is a phenomenal and talented player. And I think if he left, it will be Niners fans will be massively heartbroken if this guy left the team.
Well, he's not the general manager, so he can't trade himself. Even though he might want to be traded, he wants to get paid. That's the bottom line. And he's done enough, more than enough, to show that he's worthy of, the salary that he's asking for. And we're getting to a point now where these things should have been taken care of. I was watching Hard Knocks in season, New York Giants, and there's really no difference in the scenario between Saquon Barkley and the New York Giants and Brandon Ayuk and the San Francisco 49ers. What's different are the contract dynamics. Saquon Barkley had been franchised already, and he was a free agent. But I think the Giants were fair, and they more than fair. I think that they were they didn't want to be the bad guy, and I understand it, and I don't think that that's really negotiation when you haggle with players, you lie to them, you beat them down to the very last dollar. I mean, it was clear that they didn't want to pay Saquon what he was asking for, and they just let him go. Now, I mean, they intimated that Saquon was going to give them the final offer, which they apparently couldn't afford anyway, but they let him go do his thing. With regards to the 49ers, and the 49ers rarely talk, so it's pretty much the narrative in the media. For a long period of time, it was Brandon Ayuk is not worth what he's asking for. And I thought that was bullshit. I was like, wait a minute. He's asking to be paid anywhere from 30 to 31, 30, from 28 to $30 million. He was worth it. And it's apparent that there were at least 5 teams out there that was willing to pay him the money.
Hey, Frank, what are your thoughts on Devontae Adams going to the 49ers and Brandon Ayuk going to the Raiders? Do you agree with the move?
I
and
think
if it goes down, what are your reactions to it? I'm
a football fan, and I'm a 49er supporter, so I'm not emotionally connected to the team. I just want them to do well, and some of my favorite players in history play for that organization. Ronnie Lott, Joe Montana, Jerry Rice, so on and so forth. He ain't a bad consolation prize. I'll tell you that right now. He's older than Ayuk. Devontae at this point, I think he's 31 years old, so he's not a spring chicken, but he's going to make a lot of money next year. But after that, I think he might only make even $17 million next year. So from a financial perspective, it helps the 49ers. From Ayuk's perspective, he could go to a team in the Raiders that I think he would want to play for. And the Raiders could get rid of all the controversy surrounding whether or not Devontae wants to be there. So it could work out for both teams. I wouldn't be disappointed if I was a 49er fan. How do you feel? Because I know you're a 49er fan.
I mean, I would actually like it for the 49ers because it would actually help the Niners if we got Devontae Adams in a trade.
Why? Why would it help them?
Because we would become we would add depth to our team because our team is strong. But if we add Devontae Adams to our team, I think our team would be much more stronger.
But you're losing Brandon Ayuk, one of the top young wide receivers in all of the NFL. So, what are your thoughts on that? Devontae's 31 years old.
I mean, as a 49er fan, I want Brandon Ayuk to stay. But if he's not being respected and he's not being given the love that he deserves, why should Brandon Ayuk stay on the Niners? I mean, he should leave this team and go to another team that respects him for who he is.
That's fair. Let's go out and acknowledge my man JT. JT says, "My man Frank, what up? How you doing? I'm sitting here with my man Shadol, and we're just kind of talking about various topics in the world of sports. We've hit on the 49ers. What do you think about? Have you watched NBA Summer League?
I mean, I've watched some of the games, but I've been normally watching all the Warriors Summer League games.
Okay, so from your perspective, based on what you've seen on the court, based on what the Warriors have done in the offseason, What are your thoughts on what Mike Dunleavy Jr. has done and how the team has played in the summer and how that might translate to the winter?
I think Mike Dunleavy Jr. has done a great job being the general manager of the Warriors, replacing Bob Myers, the former general manager of the Golden State Warriors. I think he's done a phenomenal job during in the summer league, and the Warriors have.
Tell me why? Why has he done a good job? Why?
He's brought in so much young talent.
Who do you like?
Jonathan Kuminga.
He was already on the team. He's not playing this summer. The guys that he's brought in DeAnthony Milton, who's a solid NBA vet. Buddy Hield, he can shoot. His numbers are there, but he's streaking. I like the Kyle Anderson signing also. I also like the fact that they're giving young guys a chance. This Daquan Plowden guy signed a two-way. Spencer's on a two-way. And we finally got an opportunity to see Quentin Post, the second-round draft pick out of Boston College at 55. And he is what he is. He's 7'1" guy. Very skilled, can shoot the perimeter shot. He's big and strong. Probably not going to see any alley-oops to him. It'll be interesting to see if he gets on the floor. I actually think that as a third-string center, he's probably a pretty good signing when you consider they got Trace Jackson Davis, they still got Looney, and they got a 7-footer. It'd be interesting to see whether or not he can make a contribution this year. So I would agree. I think from a manager's perspective, the Warriors have done pretty well, but I like what I've seen on the court also. Let's go ahead and talk to my man Keys, who has a comment. He says, "What's up, Frank? Niners should have traded Ayuk before the draft. They're pinching pennies with him, but overpaid Bosa. Should have seen this coming." Yeah, you know what, Keys? You see what I see. And, I mean, how long did it take for the 49ers to make Christian McCaffrey the highest paid running back in football again? What, like a nanosecond? And why? They don't explain themselves, and they don't have to explain themselves. They come out with these narratives around, well, this position is worth this, and that's no. Who are the best players? Who helps you win? So I totally agree with you. And you can't play football and be unemotional. You can't. Because the best players in the world are going to get hit and at some point get hurt. I hear Keyshawn Johnson talk about it all. Keyshawn Johnson, while not a Hall of Famer, was one of the toughest players ever to play in the NFL. This dude would go over the middle and get raped, particularly young in his career. You got to be of a mindset that this means everything to me. And, when you have committed yourself to your quarterback that's depending on you to catch the ball and your team, you don't want to come off the field and think about whether or not someone thinks that you're worth what the market says you're worth. So it has not been fun for me to watch the 49ers conduct business. I understand it is a business, but when you got a guy like Brandon Ayuk, as young as he is, you develop this guy. He was drafted late in the first round. It wasn't like he was a top 10 pick. It's disappointing to me that this contract has not been done, or if you're really done with the guy, you should have traded him already.
Frank, I played football in high school for 1 year, and I've seen that this is a violent sport, and players get hit all the time, and concussions happen, and injuries happen, and there's no way to avoid it because this is a rough sport. Football is a rough sport, and you need to get used to it. If you're not getting used to it, I don't think football is a sport for you, because if you're not getting used to all those injuries happening, you better watch another sport than football, maybe like soccer or something.
Let me ask you a question. You played football in high school for 1 year. Why did you do it? What gave you the courage? Because even at that level, I don't care what level you play, you got to have a certain amount of courage to go out there and put yourself in harm's way. So what gave you the inspiration to do that? And after playing that one season, did you have more respect for football players, the overall game? What were your thoughts after playing that 1 year?
I got more respect because my teammates respected me, and I loved all my teammates I played with for that 1 year. And I wanted to continue playing football, but I didn't feel like playing it, so I gave up from playing.
What was your position?
I was a linebacker.
Wow. How much you weigh?
160.
You got ran over a couple of times. Did you get on the field? You didn't get on the field.
I got on field.
You got on the field?
Yeah.
What level did you play at?
They put me as running back for one play.
No. Is this freshman football? What?
Freshman football.
Okay. I'm joking with you because I'm kind of proud of you, dude. I mean, hey, I play football. I don't care what level you play at. It takes a certain amount of courage to get out there. And the fact that you got out there and they put you out there for one play to run the ball.
I was a running back and I scored a touchdown.
Was it a timeout when you scored your touchdown?
It wasn't a timeout.
Was anybody on the field?
There was nobody on the field.
Congratulations. All right. Let me respond to my man, Steve-O. Steve-O says, Christian McCaffrey kept his mouth shut. We didn't even know he was negotiating. Okay. Steve-O, I get it. But what I want you to understand is everybody's different. And there isn't a right or wrong right now between the 49ers and IU. I don't think there is, because I'm going to tell you why, Steve-O. The 49ers drew a line in the sand. They said, this is what we're willing to pay. This is what we're not willing to pay. Is that negotiations? That's not negotiations. That's using your power and authority over your employee. That's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. Trade him. Okay? At that point, we're not moving. We're not going anywhere. The fact that Brandon Ayuk maybe did some questionable things, I would have probably been quiet. That's my mentality. But being quiet with regards to Brandon Ayuk, I don't think was going to get him paid if the 49ers didn't want to pay him what he was asking for. Now, how do you feel about that? Thank you for your comments. Appreciate it.
Frank?
Key says, Niners aren't practicing what they preach. Take care of your own. He been balling. Take care of the man. Keys, you're one of my guys, man. And you're one of my guys. Go ahead.
When I was walking off the football field, they played Hell's Bells by AC/DC. That was the greatest moment in my life to hear that song as I walk off the football field and get into the bus and go back to the high school.
What's the second greatest moment of your life?
Listening to Hell's Bells by AC/DC.
Okay,
because I love that song so much. That's a hype song. That's a pump up song.
Okay, you need to get out more. All right, you need to. There's something called life. You need to get out, man. Experience life. If that's your highlight, come on, man. Come on, dude.
I mean, I got more highlights, but that's one of my highlights.
I'm joking. Listen, what did you think about what my man Key said? He said the 49ers are not practicing what they preach. They expect their players to go out there and give everything that they have, be totally committed, right? And, and now they're playing hardball with Brandon Ayuk. I didn't hear the same noise around Bosa. When Bosa wanted his money, right? Bosa didn't show up. But some might say they overpaid Bosa. And then guess what? He came out the next year and he kind of had an unspectacular year. Let's be honest. So it's almost like the 49ers are picking and choosing what battles they want to fight. And they can conduct business anywhere they want to. Maybe they are learning from their past mistakes, but they seem to be selective. And if I was a player, I would have a problem with that. And your allegiances, as much as you get locked in and roped into the fraternity of these organizations, it's still business. It really is. And as a football player, because the contracts are not totally guaranteed, you can get hurt at any moment. You got to go and get the money. So from Brandon Ayuk's point of perspective, and I know his family members are 49er fans, he has to have the mentality that says, I got to go get the money. Even looking at Brandon Ayuk and saying that, well, he doesn't have any leverage. He got leverage. If he plays this year at his cap number, which is what, $15 million, 14.9, and the 49ers franchise him next year, which I can't believe they would do, his salary would be the average of the 5 top salaries at his position. And what is that, Shadal? That's $30 million guaranteed. So he has some leverage, as long as he don't get hurt.
The thing, the good qualities I like about Brandon Ayuk is that this man can get heckled so much by other opponents' teams' fans that he brushes that off and just focuses on his game, and he doesn't let that get in his head. This is what I like about football players, that they can get heckled as much, but they just say, I like, you can heckle me as much as you want, but I'm going to focus on my game and improve it and make it better.
Yeah, I think that applies to all really intense athletes, not just football players, and at all levels as well. I mean, some of the greatest experiences that I've had as an athlete have happened when I was in high school, on the road, in somebody else's gym. It's an unbelievable thing to experience, because it has ramifications beyond sports into your life. When you can deal with adversity and you learn how to deal with it at a young age, it certainly helps you, no doubt.
I mean, it's so great when you look at football players. It's so great how they're determined and motivated, and they go out and play their best game, and they put everything on the line, and make people make their families proud, make everybody who's in the stands proud.
True indeed. My man Keys has a comment about Kerr. I believe Kerr needs to stop playing so many players. From what I see, LeBron, Davis, and Curry should get 30-plus minutes. They by far the best players on our team. Stop playing politics, Kerr. We can't lose. Keys, once again, I agree with you. And I think Kerr was just trying to be delicate and kind of read the room, but he sees what you and I see and everyone else sees. So I don't think that moving forward, as they get into the real competition, he's going to be hesitant about playing the players that you mentioned. Davis, Bam Adebayo, LeBron, probably Curry, and Kevin Durant and Anthony Edwards, I think, are the core 6. Devin Booker because of his outside shooting, and certainly Drew Holiday because of his defense. I think those 8 players are probably going to play the most, and I think that they should play the most. This is not a popularity contest. This is really about who's going to help you win. And yeah, I agree.
So I really like Steve Kerr as a head coach. He's a phenomenal head coach, but sometimes the decisions that he makes can land USA in hot water.
For example, give me one.
Like, he can put in a player that's really terrible, and his game isn't so great, and then
Who?
He isn't
Name
able
a player. Name a player who has played and shouldn't be playing.
Steph Curry.
Who?
No, I don't know. I don't know how to answer that question now. I thought I know about it, but
Okay, chill. Take a breath for a second. Grand Admiral says, "Holla, what's up, bro?" He says, "I don't understand why nobody talks about the '96 USA team. They had Shaq, the Glove, the Dream, Reggie, and pre-injury Grant Hill, and 5 guys from. Admiral, you know what? You're making a good point, and I'm gonna tell you why. Because people are getting older and they don't remember that team. There's a ton of documentaries on the '92 team, and the '92 team had bigger personalities: Larry Bird, Magic Johnson, Michael Jordan, Don Stockton, Karl Malone, Clyde Drexler. They had more, so their level of consciousness is more evident in our minds. But you make a great point. The '96 team was phenomenal. Some of the players that you just named. But the '92 team was the first. And I think that was the best team. But I think people remember that team because we're constantly reminded about that experience. And those individual players were bigger stars. So I think your point is well taken. But I think that's the reason why. Shandell, did you watch the WNBA All-Star game?
I didn't watch it, but
shame on you. Why not?
I saw some highlights from it.
Oh my God, that's disrespectful to women all over the world. How can you be so disrespectful?
I'm not disrespectful.
What do you mean you're not disrespectful?
No, but I like it.
No, hold on. You're a big fan of WNBA, right? And this is the biggest game that they played in their season. This is just weekend celebration. And somebody who's supposedly one of their biggest fans didn't even watch the game.
I wanted to watch the game, but I was at work. I didn't have time to watch it.
Who are you delivering pizzas?
No, I work.
That's more important.
I work at a theme park.
Okay, so watching 7-year-olds go around in a circle is more important than watching the WNBA All-Star game?
But work is more important.
You call that work?
No, I call what I do work.
Giving cotton candy to the 6-year-olds?
No.
Huh?
No.
Exactly. It's not work. I mean, don't you have they have these things called cell phones, right? You can bring up the WNBA anytime you want. Let's be honest. You don't really care, do you?
I care about women.
You care about what? This is
I
new.
care about women.
Yeah, you care about women, but you don't watch their games.
I show love and respect to women.
I'm sure you do.
I compliment women.
Give me, what's the best compliment you ever given to a woman?
You look nice today.
Oh boy, Jesus, stop it.
I'm joking with you.
I know you are. I'm joking
with you too. You see I'm smiling?
That's a smile. Okay.
Yeah, that's a smile. That's a Steph Curry smile.
Grand Admiral says, and then there was a 2014.
I wore braces.
Oh, did you?
I look good if I wear braces.
Okay, we again, let's stop talking about how men look. All right? That's not your job, man. That's for the ladies to tell you, what they think of you, I don't care.
Frank, man. So what were your thoughts on Arika Ogunbowale setting the WNBA scoring record with 34 points as they get the 117-109 win over the U.S. Women's Olympic squad, consisting of Kelsey Plum and Drew Lloyd and Chelsea Gray?
Okay, so you're pretty good about. I mean, you're pretty good at talking on video and looking at information online. And so you're pretty good at that.
I'm a fact checker.
Yeah. I know you are. I am too, but when I do my fact checking before the show. All of the facts are here. No, but hold on. I have mixed emotions, and I'm gonna tell you why. Arike Ogunbowale had 34 points. She was amazing. I've never seen anybody hotter. But I think that part of her performance last night, and this is going to sound strange, is why she's not on the Olympic team. because I think that the perception about her is she just wants to shoot. She doesn't want to do anything else. And that might be unfair. But I remember, like I follow the stats. There was a game 3-4 weeks ago when she had 30 points and 0 assists. Not one. How can you score 30 points in the game and not have any assists at all? That was her stat line. Also,
and she also
hold on. Let me finish it. I'll let you go. Also, she's clearly one of the more talented players in the league. Why has the team only won 4 or 5 games? What is her impact on winning? Even though she's a national champion, she won a national championship on a last-second shot at Notre Dame. She's awesome. She's a great talent. But the perception is, I believe, that she has a long way to go to become a complete team player. And even when they were on a roll and the game appeared to be in hand, she was kind of like hunting shots, trying to rub it in the faces of the Olympic team. I didn't like that. I mean, I didn't like that. So
and then
I think that's probably why she's not on the team. The head coach is a very serious person. And I could see how they could come to the conclusion that she was not one of the players they want to have on the team. Go ahead.
And in the end, she also won the WNBA MVP award. So that shows that she's very talented to win the MVP. Because
when did she win the MVP?
No, Arika Ogunbowale won the MVP in the WNBA All-Star game.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I know she did that. I mean, when she had 34 points.
It shows that she's very talented. For somebody to win the MVP in an All-Star game, especially her, shows that she's one of the greatest WNBA players around.
I mean, she clearly is. But again, being on the Olympic team, it's really not about who's the best. It's about sacrifice. And
this is an honor for Arika Ogunbowale to play alongside U.S. Olympians like Brianna Stewart, Kelsey Plum, Chelsea Gray, Jewel Lloyd.
Yeah, that's okay. Yeah, okay. But she didn't necessarily play like that. She needs to pass the ball. She needs to help her teammates get better, because clearly scoring a bunch of points, which she's very capable of doing, isn't the way that's going to help her team, the Dallas. What are they? The
Dallas Wings.
Yeah, the Dallas Wings ascend and start to win games, because from a talent perspective, they're a lot better than what they played this year. And it's because they don't play as a team. I watch them a lot. There's only 12 teams in the league. The irony is you have a young lady like a Caitlin Clark who's had some strife to deal with. She never even had an off season. And over the past 6 or 7 weeks, she and her teammates have played together, and they've done a great job helping the Fever ascend and put themselves in playoff contention. My man Keys has a comment. We'll go out and talk to him. Keys says, as a big Warrior fan, I was very happy to be able to root for the greatness of LeBron. Yeah, he's been our rival forever. You can still make the case that he is the best in the world at his age. Yeah, I mean, Keys, you know what? As a basketball fan, I'm blown away, man. Again, I think thus far they played 4 games. LeBron James and Stephen Curry are clearly the 2 best players on the team. They're also the 2 oldest. Amazing. I mean, and Drew Holiday is, I believe, 35. So he's not a spring chicken, and Kevin Durant, hopefully he's going to play on I think it's Wednesday they play Germany. So our elder statesmen are still the best players in the world, and certainly in the NBA. So your point is well taken. I mean, I was fortunate enough to watch Jordan in his heyday. Actually been on the court with Michael Jordan. One of the highlights of my life, playing in the game. So I don't think I'm biased. I think I can evaluate. I think Jordan at his peak was the best player who's ever played. But when you look at LeBron's career, unbelievable. And we're all fortunate to be able to watch him play at this stage of his career because I've never seen anything like it. Have you ever seen a 40-year-old man, Shadal, play like he's in his late 20s?
I've never seen that. Like somebody who's 40, I would believe that his game, when you get older, your game doesn't look that well when you were younger, so you don't play that well when you get older. But I've seen these these people are 40, they can still play phenomenal. Steph Curry is 36 years old right now. He's playing one of the best games of his life right now.
Well, I would push back a little bit. If we look at the season last year, he had an all-star caliber season. He was, he had a very good year. But I think for those of us, which I assume includes you, who watch the Warriors consistently, past 33, 34 minutes, he was done. He can't play up into the high 30s anymore, and certainly he can't play 40 minutes. His efficiency, his stamina all starts to wane after around, say, 34 minutes. So he's still great. He's awesome. He's probably the best conditioned athlete in the NBA, but his heart is not as efficient as it was when he was in his 20s. Like any person, the same can be said for LeBron James as well. So while these two guys are certainly great, they both need help from their teammates to continue to win championships, a challenge for championships.
So Team USA versus Team Germany is going to be a great game to watch.
Is that on Wednesday? What's the date on that? What's the date? Is that Wednesday?
I think Wednesday.
Yeah, okay. All right.
So Team USA versus Team Germany is going to be a great game to watch. I bet everybody's going to tune in to watch that game. LeBron, current Laker, Moritz Wagner, former Laker. So that's going to be a fun game to watch, Germany against USA.
Yeah.
Because, you always get LeBron would love to play against Moritz Wagner, who was a former Laker.
Well, both of the Wagner brothers. The younger one's even better. It should be a good game, but we should thrash Germany.
I think Moritz Wagner used to play with a former Laker, and I think Franz Wagner plays for the Orlando Magic.
Both of them do.
Oh, both of them play for Lakers?
No, both of them play for the Orlando Magic.
Oh, so LeBron is going up against two former Lakers.
No. The older brother played for the Lakers. The younger brother was drafted by Orlando.
I meant to say LeBron is going up against two current Magic players.
Yes, there you go. All right. My man Keys has something else to say. I hear LeBron spends over $1 million a year on taking care of his body. Only all-time greats like Brady and Curry are that committed. Totally agree. And Keys corrected you and informed me Monday at noon. All right, so tomorrow is when they play Germany.
So we were both wrong.
No, I was. I thought
it was Wednesday. I thought it was Wednesday, but it's actually Monday.
Yes, we're both wrong. So, let me ask you a question, dude. Do you consider yourself? Because I've heard you on some other shows. Your sports talk, your content creation journey. Is this something that you want to do? Is it just fun for you? Do you see yourself contributing and just kind of hanging out? Or are you serious about this? And if so, how does your seriousness and interest in this art form of communication manifest itself?
I'm very serious about it because I want to make as much content as possible. Because I want to get my subscriber count up there. I'm currently at 255 subs right now, so I'm trying to get up there right now. But I've been busy, so I haven't been able to create that much content. But I'm working on making as much content as I can.
What is the essence of your show? What do you do?
I just talk about like the Niners. I do post game shows for the Niners, for Warriors,
You got 200 and some odd subs.
255 subscribers
Who's
right now.
tuning in? Who are these people?
It's just some of my friends who I've sent to ask me to subscribe to my channel.
So you're good at marketing.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm halfway joking. I mean, you know what? I have 177, and I'm terrible at marketing. I don't really care about marketing. I should, but I don't really care that much about it. I focus on content and doing great shows. I ask you because we're having a good time, but if you're going to do a show, I mean, some shows are really focused on entertaining the audience, being funny, so on and so forth. Some are about content where they're pulling up graphs and everything, and some try to have a mix of everything. I think those are the best. So I guess the point I'm making is that you got to be a demon about this, if because people who are listening, they are experts. They are experts at the content. And although they might not want to host a show or even come on, they just might want to listen. They're going to respect you or they're not going to respect you based on your level of content. Because they know that it takes time. Like you just casually said, well, I haven't done that much content because I've been busy. At some point, it has to be the most important thing. If you're going to host a show and you're going to do a show. Do you understand what I'm saying?
I understand what you're saying.
Because it's like, because people they're really into it. They really are. And the fact that you got 255 subs speaks to a lot of positive things around your ability to market your show, the amount of people that like you, and maybe some of the topics that you're talking about. So I just want to give you a little advice with regards to that. What are your thoughts on Bronny James? Have you seen Bronny James play this summer?
I haven't seen Bronny James, but many people have been throwing a lot of shade on him, saying that he doesn't know how to play basketball and he's gonna go in a downward spiral. And then I think it's nepotism because he wants to play with his father, and then people are making a whole big deal about this. I don't understand the drama people are creating around this. There's so much drama being around LeBron being want to play with his son. Like, I don't know what this is about. What are your breakdown on it?
Okay, so I think you're glitching, but usually being related to someone of great prominence should not be a gateway to you playing in that environment. So I think it's a big deal because it is nepotism. Nepotism does exist, but it exists in the world. All right. Bronny James appears to be just a great kid. So people who might make personal attacks on him, I think they got it wrong. Now, Bronny James, the first couple of games, didn't play well. I put that 50% on the coaches. I think the coaches were not doing a great job. And apparently this guy's going to be a G League coach. That scares the hell out of me. They had Bronny James standing in the corner. Hold on, let me finish. And nobody should be standing in the corner. The reason why the Warriors have done so well is because they have constant movement. The Lakers don't. So that's a problem. Number two, when you look at his skill set, you got to put the ball in his hands. He does not have to become a certified point guard, but he needs to be a lead guard and learn how to run an offense. You don't do that by standing in the corner. The last two games, the noise has quieted down. He's played with more confidence. And I think people are saying, oh, Bronny can play. I never said he couldn't play. I always knew the kid can play. He has good athleticism. He's competitive, but he lacks nuance and he just lacks experience. So this grandiose plan to see him throwing alley-oops to his dad and his dad throwing alley-oops to him, that's going to have to wait because he's not ready yet But to thrash the kid as a bum is totally wrong. Now, I don't want to spend too much time on this because you haven't even seen him play. So I don't want you to just
So
kind of.
as a basketball fan,
Yeah.
I don't agree why people are giving personal attacks on Bronny James when you haven't even seen the kid play.
They've seen him play.
But then why are you personally attacking him? You know, you've seen him play, but you know,
Because they can't
he's
evaluate.
not gonna be like a
Because they
NBA
can't
star.
evaluate. They looked at his stats. They looked at a game and saw he's 0 for 8 from 3-point range. He shot 3 for 9. That's not basketball. I'm tired of people looking at stats and drawing conclusions about everything. I mean, you could draw some conclusions, but not everything. But that's what. But a lot of people draw conclusions based off stats, and that's my biggest pet peeve about sports, and it's why I wanted to do a show to educate people.
I totally agree with you, Frank. I don't know why people keep looking at the stats.
The stats matter, but they don't tell the whole story. That's all I'm saying. All right. My man Keith says, best content creatures are informed and charismatic, and some humor is always a plus. I agree.
You need in
I
shows. You need humor sometimes.
Absolutely.
We can't be serious all the time. We gotta have humor once in our lives.
No, you're absolutely right. And
humor is very essential.
If I tried to be funny, I would not be funny. Funny happens because life is funny. And if you can look at life sometimes from a serious and a cynical perspective, you can find humor out of it. I think that's kind of what I try to do. I'm sorry?
People's personality, they're intentionally they're funny. Like they don't try to be funny. They're funny in general. Like that's just their personality.
Yeah. I mean,
like Bill Walton's personality was he's a funny guy. He was always funny on the, when he always used to crack jokes when he used to play. Bill Walton was a really funny guy. Bill Walton, Luke Walton's father.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Bill Walton. But I mean, if you like that stick, then he was funny.
I like that stick.
If you don't like it, then you probably thought he was annoying.
I'm a big fan of that stick. I like this humor, actually, Bill Walton's humor.
I like some of it because in his humor, he wrapped a great deal of like content and intelligence around it. I like the older Bill Walton broadcaster than the guy who was like in his prime broadcasting, because he should take personal attacks on certain players, and I didn't like that. But yeah, I miss Bill Walton. I'm a big Bill Walton fan, but there were periods in which he took the microphone and he personalized his commentary, and I didn't like that at all.
I always go to like stand-up comedy shows and I always despise when a comedian picks out one person from the crowd and berates him. I don't like that.
Yeah, I don't like that either.
When you pick one guy from the crowd, and then you start berating him.
Yeah, I don't like that either.
One innocent person in the crowd and start making fun of him. I don't like that.
Yeah.
I never like.
I also don't like the person from the crowd who thinks that he or she is a part of the show, and they want to interject their nonsense into what the comedian is trying to do. So some people deserve it, actually. But
I don't agree with that. Like I never agree. I never like somebody to pick on somebody.
Be quiet. Laugh and be quiet. I don't think you should be interjecting yourself into the show. I don't like that either.
But sometimes comedians make you part of the show.
Yeah, sometimes they don't. So, Shadar, and we're coming up on an hour, man. How do you think you did?
I think I did really good. I think I might want to do this again.
Wow. Okay. Well, you know what? It's gone better than I didn't have any expectations, but this has gone pretty good. We've already done an hour, man. I want to thank you for joining the program. I didn't know how it was going to go. I think you did fairly well, and maybe we can do it again.
I love coming on your show.
All right, you have a nice night, brother. Now, hold on. Before I let you go, how can people find your show? How can they support you?
My YouTube channel is SG Sports channel on YouTube and Twitter. Please give me a like and follow. I'm trying to get up to 300 subscribers, so please help. I would love to get there. So if you could do that honor, I would really appreciate that.
All right, one more time. What's the address of it?
SG Sports Talk channel on YouTube and Twitter.
Okay. Well, it's right there on the screen, so they can see it right there. So fantastic, brother. Thank you for your time. I appreciate you, man.
I really love coming on the show. I really love all the content you produce on the In the Dungeon in the Dungeon show.
All right, good night, brother. Peace.
See you later, bro.
All right, that was my man Shadal, a loyal listener of the In the Dungeon show from the inception, and he asked if he could co-host the show for X amount of time, and I said yes. And anybody else out there that might want to come on live and co-host the show, just let me know. Take it serious, and we'll see if we can squeeze you in. All right. Now it's just me and you, so we're going to continue to talk about some of the topics that I raised at the beginning of the show. If you're joining me now, I will do a reset. All right, let's go out and talk to my man Keys. Keys says, who would you guys keep out of Debo and Ayuk if the Niners had to choose? I would keep Ayuk. At this point in this year, I want both of them. But going into next year, knowing what the 49ers have done, drafting Ricky Pearsall with the number 1 pick, they must think he's pretty good. He's going to have to get on the field. You can't have 2 $30 million wide receivers and a high-priced quarterback. You just can't do that. I guess Debo makes around $26 million, I guess. Ayuk, I think, deserves 30. So based on the numbers, I would give the nod to Brandon Ayuk. I also think that Debo is more susceptible to injuries just because of his body and the pounding that he takes. Remember, Debo's first 3 or 4 years, he was slash. He was not only an above-average wide receiver, Shanahan used him just as much as a running back, effectively. So I just think the wear and tear of Debo's body is going to impact how long he plays football. So those are my thoughts. But if they could potentially trade Ayuk to the Raiders and get Devontae Adams in return, the East Palo Alto kid, and he's only making 17 next year, though he would have to get extended. Maybe you can keep Debo. But out of those 2 keys, I would keep Brandon Ayuk. He stretches the field. He makes tough catches in traffic. I just think his upside is better. So, SG, Keys wanted to give you some props also. Good luck, SG. Yeah, man, he didn't do bad. I want to give him some props for that. I really appreciate that. I want to bring up a name that might not matter to any of you, but he might be a key player for the Warriors if he can make the team, and that's Kevin Knox Jr., the former 9th pick of the New York Knicks, the former Kentucky player. I throw around the word alum, and alum means that you graduated. I don't know if he's graduated or not. So he went to Kentucky. I think he only stayed there like 1 or 2 years, so I don't know if he's gone back and finished yet. It's really important to make that distinction, I believe, personally, because to graduate from a university means you have to put in some work, online, in person, whatever the case. You got to put some work in, and it's not easy. Kevin Knox finished his summer season by scoring 31 points. I think he had 11 rebounds, and played a really, really good game. And overall, I think he's probably opened some eyes to the extent that I think he will be invited to winter camp. There's really no reason why this guy is not in the NBA, based on his physical abilities. The fact that he's not says a whole lot about his lack of focus and maybe the intensity by which he goes about his craft, because he has the talent. Sometimes it takes players longer to figure it out. He could not be in a better situation than in the Warriors organization. Top shelf. Top shelf. You have the best veteran players around you to show you the ropes and teach you how to be a professional. So if ever Kevin Knox had an opportunity to resurrect his career, it's this year with the Warriors. I hope that he is successful. They're not going to give him a guaranteed contract. I can't see that. I think that what they're going to do is sign him to a veteran minimums contract that is not fully guaranteed, maybe partially guaranteed, and give him a chance to kind of work his way through that to show that he deserves to be here. But he might be a find. And I think that you would have to put another feather in the cap of Mike Dunleavy Jr., maybe some of his scouts, maybe Larry Harris, a personnel guy, because quietly, I think he has done what the Warriors hoped that he would do. I think the Atlantic or some other organization has the Warriors winning 42 games. I think they're going to win more than that. I think the Warriors are going to win 46 to 48 games, which is what they were around last year. And I only say that because the Western Conference is even better. The NBA is better. 48 wins this year might be the 6th seed because it's going to be competitive as hell. If you look at what San Antonio has done, San Antonio is going to win, I think, 32 games. You know, they're not a playoff team, but they're going to be a lot better. Chris Paul is going to help them be better. And now they're actually pursuing Cam Johnson of the Brooklyn Nets. I don't know if they're going to get him, but San Antonio has done extremely well. They got the kid from UConn. They got Harrison Ingram from North Carolina. They got Harrison Barnes. They might be better than 32. San Antonio, I think Popovich said, okay, turn the heat up. It's time for us to win some games now. They're surrounding Wemby with some talent. They had some good young players. Vassell already there. For anybody who is penciling in wins for San Antonio against San Antonio this year, you got another thing coming. Knox looking like Kuminga out there. Maybe makes Kuminga expendable. I wouldn't trust him just yet, but he's a talent. Knox is a talent. You got to do better for me than Lauri Markkanen. I mean, I want people to help me out. Help me see it. What is the love affair with Lauri Markkanen? I just don't get it. Is he good? Yes, he's good. Can he score? Yes. Is he a defender? No. Is he a rim protector? No. Is he a dominating rebounder? No. That's how you win. That's how you win. So, you know, I would love to see him go out there and put up 25 and 10 in the first half of Utah's season. And if they're really adamant about positioning themselves for Cooper Flag, then trade him in. Trade him in. Even if Utah want to sign him to an extension now, and this is what's really important. He's coming up to a point where he needs to sign an extension by a certain date, and that date is coming up. And then after that, he can't be traded for, I don't know, 5-6 months, which probably brings you to kind of around the trade deadline, around there. That works. I can't see Utah trading for Jonathan Kuminga because they don't want Jonathan Kuminga. And he don't want to be in Utah. I don't blame him. So that's not going to work. And I think he would be a little salty. And maybe they don't think he's that good. I have no idea. So the marketing for Kuminga thing, that's not going to happen. I thought about this afternoon. The Warriors are not going to trade Pozinski. They're just not going to do it. And I get it. Yeah, he's exceeded expectations. I like more what's coming out of his mouth now than even watching him play. And he plays a very smart brand of basketball. They think he's an all-star. I haven't seen anything from him that says he's going to be an all-star. Maybe I'm wrong, but I have not seen that. I've seen somebody who knows how to play basketball, who makes the right play most of the time, and who in a very short period of time is starting to humble himself. And I like humble players. I do. And I have to say this because you might go with Red, yeah, I love being old school. My high school coach set the foundation for how we played. And I won't apologize for that. Being braggadocious, yeah, 3-pointer, yeah. So what? Big deal. Big deal. You grab a rebound, you dunk on somebody, you yell, ah! Come on. Stop it. Just go get the job done. That's what I like about Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum. For young guys who are basically made men at this point, they're not braggadocious at all. They're not. They go out and they get the job done. Now, you might say, Red, you know what? I like to see players express that level of excitement. Okay, but it can go too far. Just go play. I don't particularly like that. I wanted to highlight some of the things that we saw in the Summer League because remember leading up to the draft, how weak this draft supposedly was? This draft was not weak. What did I tell y'all? I said, this is not a weak draft. This is a strong draft. And there are a lot of good players in this draft. What are your thoughts after watching the Summer League now, having the chance to see all of these young players? Even players who did not get drafted are signing two-way deals by the bundle. Why? Because two-way deals now, you can make as much as $400,000. Give me a chance to make $400,000 and plus some other, maybe a little sneaker money, some per diem. You might be around $500,000 as a two-way player in the United States playing for an NBA team as opposed to going to Turkey. Ain't nothing wrong with Turkey, but I'd take a city, I'll take a position on an NBA team any day of the week or any other country to start my career. I get Pat Bev going over to Israel to make a couple of million when people are not beating your door down. I totally understand that. But this is a strong draft. A lot of good players. Really is. I would say my favorite player to watch this summer, and I got this right, is Reed Sheppard. A lot of people who didn't get a chance to watch him play at Kentucky, he only stayed there 1 year. He didn't even start. When I evaluated Reed Sheppard on 3 or 4 times, I was like, oh my God, this kid is a combination of Steve Nash and Mark Price. That's who he plays like. Combination of Mark Price, Steve Nash with crazy athleticism. You know what I'm saying? You don't see that combination like that. Dude got a 40-inch vertical. His mid-range is nasty. Nasty. And he can shoot the long ball, and he shoots 50% from three. San Antonio wanted him so bad. But they knew they couldn't get him because Houston was going to draft him. I could imagine those conversations between Ime Udoka and Popovich. Ime, you know, there's a nice steak restaurant in San Antonio that you don't know about. I want to take you to. Yeah, I got a new brandy that I want you to try. Oh yeah, Pop? Can we do it after the draft? Then they both give a good laugh. My man Keith says, that kid Shepard is the real deal. Like you predicted, Frank, he's a baller. Yeah, man. Yeah. And I mean, a lot of times when you are the offspring of great parents, it doesn't translate, it doesn't work out. But his mom was a straight baller at Kentucky, and his dad was a pro. And the thing I like about Reed Shepard is his game is dripping with nuance. You got skill and you got nuance. He has both. And wow, he's gonna be a lot of fun to watch. I think Fred Van Fleet will certainly be the starter. I don't think Shepard's gonna start or anything like that. But he's gonna work that second unit, and he's probably gonna finish a lot of games with Van Vliet. Houston's turnovers are going to go down. Yes. Key said the Rockets are going to be exciting. Solidly in the play-in. Probably 7 or 8. And if they exceed expectations, they'll be the 6th seed. Yo, man. I think the guy's name is Rod Stone, their general manager. And Ime Udoka, they've done a great job. Fatita, their relatively new owner, he's finally going to start to get a return on his investment because they're ready to make some noise. And the thing about Houston that I love, they did it the old-fashioned way. They earned it. They didn't go out and sign all these crazy free agents. They simply drafted the right players. You know, they simply drafted the right players and mixed them in with a couple of vets that they signed in free agency. This team is exciting. And Reed Shepard's going to be a vital piece. They also have Steve Adams. You guys know that? They have Steve Adams also, who's probably not going to be a starter anymore. But as a backup center, Steven Adams filling up the middle. The Houston Rockets are probably my pick to make the biggest leap. Even though they won 41 games last year, I think that they kind of built for the playoffs. There's a lot of irony going into the NBA season. Not only did the Dallas Mavericks make it to the NBA Finals, they could lose in the first or second round next year. That's how tough this up-and-coming NBA season is going to be. The Warriors, exceeding expectations for the Warriors would be to win an opening round series. I can't see them doing better than that unless Steph is out of his mind. But I think they can have a successful year. I mean, I'm a realist. I'm a Knicks fan. If your team is in the playoffs, if you're competitive most games, I don't want to spend $200 on a ticket, $300 on a ticket, and go out and watch my team look like the Charlotte Hornets. I don't want to see that. I want to see a competitive game that I can remember, for years or do I go to the next game? I think that's the Warriors. The Warriors are going to be very competitive, and they're going to be fun to watch. And they got one of the 4 superstars in basketball. And when I say superstars, I mean players that move the needle. You know who those players are? And I would love to see you argue with me on this point. The 4 superstars in the NBA right now, it's only 4. LeBron James still puts butts in seats. Stephen Curry, Ja Morant, and Victor Wembanyama. That's it. There are no other mega stars in the league. They're stars, but there are only 4 mega stars. Well, I'm going to add 5. He's not quite there yet, but by the middle of the season, he's going to be there. That's Anthony Edwards. So that's 5. I'll give Ant-Man his credit. I think he's there. And a lot of people are coming in, and this is what I wanted you all to do. I want you to challenge me on my thinking. Now, I'll say this. The NBA is in fine shape because they have a lot of good teams. So as a Knicks fan, I don't have to have a megastar. I want to see the Knicks play because they play basketball the right way. So they're going to do fine in the ratings without a, quote, megastar. The Boston Celtics, to me, don't have a megastar. They got stars, but they have an iconic brand. They have a bunch of good players. They play the game the right way. And I think we can make that argument about several other teams. Key said, do you think Udoka deserved to get fired? Seems like he laid the foundation in Boston. In life, did he deserve to get fired? No. Did the dynamics of why he got fired allow me to rationalize why they wanted to get him the hell out of Boston? I get it. But that type of stuff, unfortunately, happens. I'm not going to say all the time, but far too often. If it was in his contract that he could not have a relationship with any company personnel, then, he still got paid. He was still getting paid. I don't know if he got his full salary, but he was still getting a check. So, I think if you're going to pay people, you have the right to remove them from that position. Now, the other thing was a lot of people clearly liked him there. So, and it didn't take him long to get another job. So all in all, I think he won. And because, like any of these professional leagues, they can blackball you real quick and you'll never see the light of day again. This guy sat out for 6 or 7 months and got hired by one of the best franchises in the NBA, in my opinion. And, he's back on his feet. So I didn't really have a problem with how things transpired. I would hope that I would have made better choices, but I'm not perfect. You know what? Nobody's perfect. Do I think that it was solely his fault what transpired? Hell to the no. It was not. 2 people were involved. The other person went out of her way saying that, there was nothing, below well, I didn't say that right. The woman came out and vehemently said that it was consensual. Allegedly consensual. Let me help myself out there. All right. So, in reality, Keys, no, I don't think he deserved to be fired. That stuff is handled internally a gazillion times. The fact that he got fired or he got removed and still got paid does not surprise me. My man Mark Graves, how you doing, Mark? No Giannis. Nah, I don't think Giannis drives ratings. I don't think he does. I think Giannis is a phenomenal player, and maybe I'm wrong, but I don't think he drives ratings. Jimmy says Giannis also. No, I think Giannis is a superstar. I don't think he's a megastar. And the distinction is, do people, lose their mind to see you play? And I don't think he's one of those guys. Maybe I'm wrong. Particularly, now he was hurt in the playoffs. So, that kind of stained his popularity a little bit. Maybe I'm wrong. I could be wrong on this. I have no idea. But when I think of megastar driving the ratings, I don't think of Giannis. I do think of Ja. And it's kind of a weird thing because obviously the attraction to Ja, I don't think is all positive. I think some people want to believe that this young man is, something that lionizes him in the streets. And I'm sure that's not the image that Ja wants to project, but it leads to popularity. He's a great talent. He's a great player. If he's healthy, I think he's going to come back and he kind of reclaim his prominence as a really popular player, and he impacts winning also. So I think Ja is this generation's AI. That's what I think. Now, he has to start to win and go deep into the playoffs. He hasn't done that yet. But he's young, man. He's young. He's box office. I think that he is a megastar. I think he does drive ratings. Key says, who's your top 5 in NBA coaches? Oh, okay. In no particular order, I got to put Kerr there. Kerr, Eric Spoelstra, to me. I got to give Popovich his love. So, Kerr, Spoelstra, Popovich. I'm going to say Ty Lue because of his communication skills. I think Ty Lue can coach anybody, anywhere. And I would love to put Billy Donovan there at among the top 5. I'm not going to do it. That's my guy. Nick Nurse. I'll put Nick Nurse there because he won. And I think winning championships matter. There's other coaches I did not name who won championships, but that would be my 5. I would say Kerr, Popovich, Spoelstra, Ty Lue, and Nick Nurse. After that, you got a slew. You got a lot of good coaches. Thibodeau would be one of my favorite coaches. Definitely put Billy in there. Yeah, what do you think about my list? I wouldn't put any of those guys in any particular order, but those would be my top 5. I want to talk about a historic moment in hip hop. I heard on Friday for 1 hour, I got a chance to sit back in my car and listen to an hour of kind of a forum hosted by Ray Rizzy on a Sirius XM, and he was interviewing Pete Rock and Common and interjecting stories and playing cuts off of their new album called the Auditorium Volume 1. And Both of these brothers are north of 40. All right? And I'm being nice, north of 40. And they got together and they talked about the strife that they had actually working together as brothers. They had disagreements. They got there, but they had disagreements. And it was beautiful to see them kind of work through whatever challenges they had as a Hall of Fame producer and a Hall of Fame rapper who both had extraordinary careers come together and create what I think is a classic album. There's a lot of variables here. First of all, the music industry says after you get to a certain age, we just cut your knees off. All right? You can no longer sell tickets to new fans. Hopefully you got some older fans, because you can't sell any tickets to new fans. We don't really want to see you on screen. We don't want you to make videos. We don't want to give you awards. We don't want to do business with you because at this point, you've been screwed so many times, you're destined to get a fair deal. So we can't exploit you anymore because you're too old. So you got all of these dynamics at play. And yet, these young men put together a classic album. I can't wait till they come to an area where I can go watch them play. Even if it's like a destination thing where they're going to be in Vegas. Or I don't know where that destination might be. I just want to see them do a show. And that's going to be awesome. Now they're going to be at like some jazz festival, but I don't want to see them in a jazz festival. I want to see them doing a show themselves in an intimate club or arena. I mean, I can take as much of 1,000 people, 500 to 1,000. And if I can see them in a 500 to 1,000 seat, or not even seat, venue, I would pay $200 or $300. Now you might be laughing at me right now. Like, Red, you are totally out of touch with regards to how much tickets cost to go see shows. $300 is probably as much as I'm gonna pay. That's about it. But I would pay $300 to see these guys. I think they deserve it. Yeah, and I'm gonna buy their album, and maybe I'll buy some memorabilia as well. So I just wanted to acknowledge that. I don't know if we have any hip hop fans. I know we have some, but if so, I wanted to know what your thoughts were. It's been a big year for hip hop. It really has. So, JR500, what's up? Which one of those kids playing today have a chance with the Warriors? I think that Clouton might get on the court if he can make some shots. It wouldn't surprise me if their draft pick, Quentin Post, got an opportunity. He's 7'1". He's 7'1", and he's not a kid. He's 24 years old. So he went to Missouri State first, and then he transferred to Boston College and played 3 years there. He was all ACC second team. This kid's not a bum. He's just not all that athletic, but he's big and strong. His fundamentals are solid, and he got 6 fouls. I think Quentin Post's ability to play this year with the Warriors is depending upon how physical he is. Because you can be a big guy and be a non-physical player. If he's physical and he can defensive rebound, he might get a chance because injuries happen, strange things happen, and Looney is a year older. So Quentin Post and Daquan Plowton are two guys who I think could contribute, and certainly Kevin Knox II, if he makes the team, I wouldn't be surprised if he plays also. So there you go. Abdulio says, yeah, every song on the Common Pete Rock album is great. Yeah. Plus, those dudes, and I would give Common more the credit for this. Common has a lot of friends in media. So their rollout for an independent release was the best I've ever seen. Because these guys are not signed to a label. They're doing partnerships. So you got them putting up some of their own money, with a distributor entity that can get their music out there. All right, so you got that going on. And then you have Common mortgaging his celebrity relationships with The Roots, Jimmy Fallon, other networks. This guy's an accomplished actor. So they've done something in terms of their rollout that we have not seen before. And how does this translate into success? They get a much bigger piece of the pie. I mean, to think that these guys could potentially sell even 500,000 records would be crazy because they get such a big piece of the pie, presumably. So I'm happy, man. I'm happy. I'm happy for hip hop, and I'm happy that these guys are conducting themselves as entrepreneurs. That's really what it's all about. Myself, anything that I do, it's going to be a partnership. If I ever do anything in this content space, I won't be like some giddy guy who's, oh, you want to sign me? No. I'm going to break bread. I'm going to break bread. And if that doesn't happen, then it doesn't happen. But I'm not going to be exploited at all. All right. And I'm glad that these guys have shown a gateway how you can get things done. Will B, what's up? He said, hey, Frank, not ball related, but what do you think about the Ayuk situation? Yeah, Will B, we've talked about it, but I'll hit it up again. I'm disappointed that there hasn't been compromise on both sides. I'm at the point now where I think the 49ers should either sign him or trade him. Okay? What are we talking about? $2 million a year? I mean, give me a freaking break. The narrative in the media has been that Ayuk doesn't have any leverage, which is BS. Now, if he played for $15 million this year, which he don't want to do, I don't blame him. But I don't think he should leave $15 million on the ground. All right? The 49ers, 80% would not franchise him next year. And I'm going to tell you why. Because then his salary would be the average of the top 5 receivers in the NFL, which is around $30 million, probably 31. That money would be guaranteed. So the fact that he does, to say he has no leverage, he has leverage. He needs to go out and play and be healthy. But I don't like this hardball mentality that the 49ers are playing with Ayuk when he's produced. If he didn't produce, he's trying to get more money. I would have a problem with that. But it didn't take long for Christian McCaffrey to reestablish his spot as the highest paid running back in all of the NFL. So what's up with that? They paid Bosa last year. He came out, he didn't have a great year. So why are you playing hardball with Ayuk, a guy who's produced, who's helped your quarterback ascend to, a top 10 level in the NFL? This idea that Brock Purdy has to make $60 million next year for a contract, to me, is crazy. I don't believe that. I think Brock Purdy should be paid somewhere between $50 and $60 million. But very few players come into an environment and a situation that he's in. There's something to that. So that's my take on Ayuk. I think he should be paid. Now, if you really don't want to pay the guy and there's a trade out there in which you can possibly get Devontae Adams, at a lower salary. You would have to extend him ultimately. But I'm interested in that. What are your thoughts, Will B? Key says rappers like Common should be given their due props by rap music industry. They make great music, not negative shots, which the industry loves to push. I agree with you, man. Keys, I thoroughly agree with you. And my style of music is somewhere in that Common, Guru, a Gangstar, and I'll throw you a new guy out there, Corday. I like what Corday does. I think Corday is brilliant. I think he's one of the top young rappers in the game. He is. I don't know if they're still together, but what was the tennis player from Japan? Black girl is really good. There's won majors. She and Corday, I know at one point were a couple, but Corday is really clever. I just heard a song that he did with Slum Village. I think it's called. I don't know what it's called. I don't want to misrepresent the title, but Corday's dope. I'm somewhere between Corday, Guru, Common. My music doesn't denigrate women. It doesn't. And for me to vehemently go at another rapper, come on, man. That's not something that I'm interested in. But there are fans that like that stuff. I don't like it. I don't. It doesn't necessarily speak to your greatness to me. It really doesn't. So I'm happy that Common and Pete Rock have kind of brought it back to the point where we're focusing on the music. Because the music, the tracks are dope, the lyrics are dope. And being a hip hop fan and getting into the artistry, it was really about me being educated and feeling that I can walk away from that experience saying to myself, you know what? I would like to have a conversation with that dude. You know, I could break bread with him or her. You know, some of the other stuff, yeah, I know about, but I can't relate to it. You know, I mean, if I have to hurt somebody to get ahead, then I feel like I lost. Because that's not how everybody, you don't, there isn't one way to climb this ladder. And I think that a lot of times in hip hop, there's this mentality of desperation. And my whole thing is like, yo, get in where you fit in. Too Short said that. And one of the best pieces of advice that has ever been given by a rapper. But you can fit in a lot of different spaces. That's my point. So, and Common's dope. Common has literally made multiple classic albums. I think yo man, I wouldn't have a problem with Common being in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame at some point. I wouldn't. When you look at his discography, it's incredible. I Used to Love Her is one of the top 10 rap songs ever done. I Used to Love Her. Incredible record. If you know hip hop. I'm a hip hop historian. Will B says, thanks, Frank. I feel the same about you. Keep doing you, brother. Love your takes. I appreciate you, man. You know, I really, thanks, Will B. I appreciate it. I come from a perspective of having played college basketball on a high level, played college football, caddied for 10 years, played baseball, and I played lacrosse. And I'm a rapper. I'm not one of these, no, I'm a legit rapper. I got music out there. And you know, I live by the culture. I'm a part of the culture. Part of my philosophies on life was acquired by listening to hip hop. I miss Guru every day, dude. I really do. I miss Guru every day. I could tell you stories about Guru and DJ Premier. real hip hop shit. I'll just give you one. When Gangstar was just starting to gain traction, they were on an independent label, Wild Pitch, with Stu Fine, and then they were on Chrysalis. And I know this because I sent out a demo to Wild Pitch, which is the label that they were on at the time. And, they called my man back, my producer at the time, who was working at a record store. And he actually sent it out. He sent out, the music. And they were like, oh yeah, this is pretty good. So my man was like, yo, my boy Red's gonna be in New York. He's gonna see his mom. And they invited me to come down to, the label. Barely any money, very grassroots. But the fact that somebody in the industry liked what we did was encouraging. All right. So when they didn't have a whole lot of money back in the day, and you were kind of on an independent major, which is what Wild Pitch was, wherever your record was hot, the label sent you there to set up shop. You had to chill there. Like Wu-Tang. Wu-Tang spent, I want to say, they were saying like a month or two in Oakland. Just they had a spot and everything because they were hot. They were making traction. One of Gangstar's biggest markets was the Bay Area, was Northern California. So it was not uncommon for Gangstar to do 5 or 6 shows in the Bay Area in a given year. And, they were saving money. They were actually, a lot of times they didn't even stay in hotels. They were like, they befriended this one guy. I'm not gonna mention his name, but they befriended this guy to the point where they were all boys. They probably have relationships even to today. And they would all stay together because they were selling so many records in the Bay Area. The Bay Area loved Gangstar, and that was one of the key markets that allowed them to really break through. And so I remember one time I did like this, this show where like, kind of like this, I don't have the word for it, but it's like when new artists go and they do their stuff. Guru showed up. And, I've told the story before, but Guru basically watched me perform after the show. He's like, yo, what's up? I'm Keith Yee or whatever. And dude gave me the card to his manager's, he gave me his manager's card, Empire Management. I called, left a message, nothing happened. It doesn't really matter. It's all hip hop. But my point is, the real essence of the story is when artists were hot in a particular market, they became a part of that community. In Northern California, the Bay Area was one community that was instrumental in building the career of Gangstar. And I've met Guru several times. There's a dude, his name is Kevy Kev Cool Breeze, who had the longest running rap show in the nation for a long period of time called The Drum. His name is Kevin Montague. And everybody came through. So I spent a lot of time at Stanford also, going down there, just kind of chilling, getting my chops, learning how to do radio, building relationships. Got a chance to hang out with Eminem down there early on. That was one of the best experiences I've had. Just that 10 minutes with Eminem. Dude was funny as hell. Not like his public persona. And he had the world on his shoulders. And he could not have been more pleasant, more calm, more cool. A lot of stories, man. But Miss Guru, wish she was still here. Jimmy says, what are your top 5 rappers of all time? This is really hard. But it's hard, man. Being influenced by and who I think is the best, that's kind of, rap is like, it's like the NBA top 75, the NFL. There's so many good ones. It's hard. But definitely I was heavily influenced by LL Cool J early on. Uh, I don't think, and L got a brand new album out now. So I finally heard a joint on there that I think is spectacular. So I'm interested in hearing the whole album. But LL, Big Daddy Kane, I don't know if he's one of my favorite rappers, but I had all the respect in the world for Ice Cube. At one point, Ice Cube was the best rapper in the world. If you don't know Ice Cube's music, go listen to America's Most Wanted. It's a classic album. And then I would say Jay-Z and Nas. I mean, the talent that those two dudes have displayed already is unbelievable. With that said, Kendrick Lamar is one of the greatest rappers ever to do it. Unbelievable talent. I'm glad that his generation has an opportunity to witness greatness on that level, because he's certainly one of the best. And Drake's made a lot of joints, man. It isn't this all or nothing proposition. Drake is going to be doing shows until he's 70 years old in Vegas. When all this stuff is over, Drake is going to be doing shows, man. What Drake has done in hip hop is unbelievable. He's turned hip hop on his head. You can have discussions about how he does it and if it's legitimate and all that. Yeah, okay. But you can't really haggle about his accomplishments. He's accomplished more in hip hop than anybody he's ever done. He really has. And that's in all of the greatness. Eminem has made some of the best songs that I really like. Never really got hooked on the music. And I think that's his deal. And that's all good. But in terms of talent, Eminem is one of the most talented rappers ever to do it. He's made so many songs that I listen. I mean, Lose Yourself. Whenever I get to a point where I need a boost, I just turn Lose Yourself on. Still to this, you could put Lose Yourself out right now and it'd be number one. That's how good that record is. Guts Over Fear. If you've ever been in a situation where you think you can't do something, listen to Guts Over Fear. Great record. And his ode to the hip hop greats is Rap God. Rap God is one of the best records ever done. So Eminem's destined to be in the Hall of Fame. No doubt about that. My man Keys says, I miss rap like Tribe Called Quest, Eric B. and Rakim, and other talented rappers who didn't have to tell stories about killing and pimping and drug dealing. Yeah, I agree with you. And thank God we still have the memories. And Rakim got a joint out now. So Rakim is starting to make some records. I didn't know if he would still be able to make the level of records that he's made in the past. But yeah, he still got it. His voice has not changed at all. He still has a great voice, great delivery. The cool factor and the intellect is all still there. I wish KRS-One was more prominent in, the consciousness of new and older rap fans, because KRS-One is underrated, man. KRS-One is unbelievable. A lot of people are like, who? K who? No. Listen, do your homework. KRS-One is incredible. I give you a name of an underground rapper too who, he doesn't make like gigantic hits, but I like what he does. He was heavily influenced by Nas. There's this guy, his name is Old Drew. Old Drew, his name is. Dope. Great wordplay. I like Locksmith a little bit. I like some of the stuff that he does. you know, a lot of stuff I like. And I heard Bad and Bougie for the first time in about 6 months. What a great record. That record is incredible. What a great record. That's a record that you go in the studio and you're kind of playing around and you're trying stuff, and then magic happens. You can be in the industry 20 years and never have a record like Bad and Bougie. That's a great record. J500. Hey, Frank, how does the Summer League actually work? Because I'm confused on whether they play on a team in the G League or they get traded or they move on. I'm not sure exactly how it works. Okay. Most NBA teams, all 30 NBA teams, now have G League affiliates. All right. So if an organization, if an NBA team thinks that you have promise, they will either sign you to a two-way deal so you can play for their G League team and still have some affiliation to the big club, or they can essentially make you a free agent and say, listen, we like you. We're not ready to commit to you like that. Maybe they'll say, try out for our G League team, and that works. Or they just let you go. You go try out for another G League team. You go overseas. So Summer League really is about opportunity. That's what it's about. It's about opportunity. It's a promotional thing for the NBA to expose their high draft picks. So it's turned into, I think, one of the best boutique cottage industries that we've seen in sports. Nobody else has that. You know how much money they're making now for hotels over that 3-week period? ESPN doesn't do an NBA contract without having the majority of the Summer League because it drives ratings. You're not going to get the type of revenue that you would get in the winter, but it's profitable. So the Summer League is profitable for all the reasons that I just mentioned, and it provides tremendous exposure for players. So good thing. J500 said it was good. He says I enjoyed it. It was damn good. Yeah, man. I've been several times, and I love it. To be able to walk from one arena to the next while 2 NBA games are going on, all of the ice cream, all of the foods, the buffets, the access to NBA people is crazy. I'm not going to mention his name, but I remember one year, and I was working in the media at that point, but I had like an hour-long conversation with an assistant coach of an NBA team. Just he and I. He didn't really know who I was. I introduced myself, but we were meeting for the first time, and we're sitting there, and the information that he told me, the stories, was crazy. Luckily, I'm a stand-up guy, so I wouldn't repeat it or do anything. But access, my point is, access is unbelievable. And now you have the Las Vegas Aces in town. I would definitely go check a WNBA game out if it coincided with how long I was going to be in Vegas. I would have to see a WNBA game. So it's on and popping right now, man. It's a good look. And then on those non-weeks, if you're really a basketball nut like I am, you have high school basketball, and all those tournaments are going on in Vegas as well. So, so that's how it works with the NBA. SG says, thoughts on the Golden State Warriors getting eliminated by Miami Heat? It doesn't matter, man. Thoughts on Quentin Post and Kevin Knox? I've talked about that. I was impressed with Quentin Post. I thought he looked decent for a second-round pick. I'm rooting for Kevin Knox Jr. Hopefully, he would take advantage of this tremendous opportunity. And Stahl says, I love your show. I appreciate it. Okay, so I haven't promoted the show and asked you to hit the like button. Hopefully, you've already taken the liberty to do that, but I need you to pound that like button. It helps the algorithm. Subscribe to the show. I don't have a whole lot of subscribers, probably not as many as I should have. If you like the show, you want to support it, then hit the subscribe button. Follow me at Big Frank Red. I think I'm a decent follow, and I follow back as well. But hit the like button, subscribe to the show. I'm going to be traveling this week. I'm going to be in a different part of the country. I think I'm going to take my stuff with me, so I'll probably do a show midweek from a unknown location. So be on the lookout for that. Maybe be at a different time zone because I'll be at a different time because I'll be in a different time zone. But definitely Sunday night we'll be right back here at our normal time between 8 or 9 o'clock Pacific time. Key says, "What is AAU basketball?" Oh wow. AAU basketball is Keys. AAU basketball is when not all the best players, but players around the country who aspire to play in college, primarily at the Division I level, but AAU players sometimes play Division II. They play in the Ivy League and they play Division III. And it is a network of tournaments that are constructed from teams all around the country, generally with players in the same region, coached by somebody who might have been a former player, somebody's dad who has some money. But it's a grassroots opportunity to put together teams that are regional that fly to these national tournaments. There's a lot of local tournaments, but AAU basketball gives you an opportunity to gain exposure from college coaches, have lifelong experiences with your friends, and play really, really competitive basketball. So AAU stands for, I don't know, Amateur Athletics Union. I don't know. Not quite sure. Okay. Like your dog got it. Officially, it stands for Amateur Athletic Union. I was close. It can also be referred to as club basketball or travel basketball. Generally, it refers to non-school teams that are competing. Yeah. All right, y'all. We've done 2 hours non-stop. And it's been a pleasure. I want to thank my man Shadal for coming on the show. You guys know him as SG Sports Talk Channel. Go to his channel, follow it, and hit the like button if you like what he does. I'm sure he has some content out there. Continue to support me if you like what I do. I really appreciate it, and I'm always thinking about ways to make the show better. So thank you for your support. Once again, follow me at Big Frank Red and hit the like button for the show. In the Dungeon Show, hosted by me, Frank Red. I'm going to do my thing, get out of here. Success and getting paid is a manifestation of the whole process. If you as an individual don't do things to help other people make their lives better, as far as I'm concerned, you haven't done nothing. All right? I'll check with you guys throughout the week and certainly next Sunday. Until then, peace.